All right, hey, what's up, guys? We have Samuel Rogers here. He is a musician. So how's it going today? How you doing today, Samuel?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your music first, just so we know who you are?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm a second year college student, studying marketing, and recently just released an album called Project Albany. Essentially, like the concept of the album, it's about the small town that I grew up in, and just sort of the things that I've observed over the years, like a lot of issues with income inequality, gentrification, homelessness, drug use, things like that. Um, I just want to bring more awareness to issues like that in small cities and kind of with my album connect more with my community, hopefully. So yeah.
Yeah, so I checked out your album and it sounds pretty good. I like it. It kind of reminds me of like, I mean, I'm trying to think of like, because I don't really listen to that type of music, but it's almost like it would be like JPEG Mafia type thing, where it's kind of like
Yeah.
glitchy rap, like with a lot of samples and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, JPEG Mafia, it was definitely like a huge inspiration. Also Death Grips, a little bit of Travis Scott, Frank Ocean. Yeah, but a lot of JPEG Mafia inspiration because I've been listening to him a lot for the past few years. Just getting more into experimental hip hop.
Yeah. So I mean, I said I don't really listen to that, but I actually kind of do. Like I mean, I was big into like Kanye West, obviously, and then also Frank Ocean and then Kendrick Lamar. But like my main music I listen to is like indie rock, but I also have gotten into some rap. So how do you like how did you start? Like yeah, how did you get into like music when you were younger?
Yeah, I've always liked making music. I've always well, I grew up playing the piano, so I kind of started there, and then I just got more into making music around 2018. I would like in my freshman year of high school, after school, I would always go on GarageBand on my iPhone, and I would make beats. So that's kind of where it started, and I never really uploaded music like officially, like I did with this album. Usually I would just put it on SoundCloud or YouTube and just forget about it. But yeah, with this album, I really kind of like hard locked on it for, 3 to 4 months. And, I'm proud of the result. I feel like this is definitely one of the better pieces of music I made. Um, but it was kind of hard because I did take like a little break from music um, just from like making music. So coming back into it was a little difficult, but eventually I got the hang of it.
Yeah, so do you do all your own like producing and all that? Is it like pretty much all you?
So yeah, with this album, I did all the vocal production. I produced, I fully produced some of the tracks, but most of the tracks were produced by other producers. I also um, worked with a local producer here at my university, and he produced one of my favorite tracks on the album, "What's Happening Salem." It's just a super upbeat, energetic track. Um, yeah, it was really fun to work with someone local like that.
You know, like, do you use any samples?
Yeah, there's a few samples on the album. Try to think. Um, on on Albany Costco, which I think is either track 4 or 5. There's kind of a break at the end where I sample Billie Eilish's Wildflower, which is actually a recent release from her newest project. Um, yeah, I really like mixing genres. Like the first half of that song is really kind of like chaotic and sporadic, but then it diverts into that Billie Eilish sample and just kind of tones things down a little bit. Um, so yeah, and then also on let's see, Gosh, what track is it? Um, oh, also, yeah, on Albany Costco, I sampled this is kind of niche, but it's like I don't know if you heard Mr. Morale by Kendrick Lamar, that track.
Yeah, yeah. Which one is
It's
that
called
one?
Mr. Morale. Yeah. It's off of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
I mean, how does that one go? I don't know if you'd be able to like sing it, but like,
Yeah, well, yeah, the intro of that Kendrick song, it starts off with um this guy talking about how he's like ranting about his favorite football team or something not being able to like win any games, and I really liked just like the way his voice sounded, and then I like went I found the guy who Kendrick sampled, like his YouTube channel, and I sampled one of his other YouTube videos where he ranted about, I don't know, he just goes and rants about like random stuff that happens in his life. But yeah, I took that sample, and it was basically just him saying, I couldn't believe it. And yeah, if you listen to the track, it fits really well into the track. I don't know if you've heard um track 4 in the album, but yeah, it's a funny addition.
yeah, yeah. I mean, his album, Kendrick's album, didn't do as well, right, as the previous ones. But I actually don't even think that I listened to that whole album. But there was a couple songs in the beginning that I did like, and I'm like, I don't even remember which. That's why I asked you which one that one was. But it's like one of them kind of like it has like a kind of like a driving beat, and he's like, I wouldn't even I
Yeah,
wouldn't even be able to
it's
like,
pretty energetic, yeah.
yeah, it's like three or four, and he's like, I wouldn't even be able to like redo it. But I mean, I liked what I heard of that album. Did you like that album as much as like his previous stuff? Or
Um, well, yeah, I'm pretty new to Kendrick's discography actually. That was one of my first couple projects that I heard from him. Um, but yeah, I'm a big fan of that album. I think it's like lyrically speaking, it's one of his most personal projects. Um, because he gets really vulnerable talking about therapy, talking about family issues and things like that.
yeah, and I felt like he kind of like died off for a little bit after that album. Not really died off, but like wasn't as big. And then recently he came out with like the Kendrick or the Drake beef or whatever, and I think that he's like
Hmm.
gotten bigger because of that. And then now he's playing like the Super
Oh,
Bowl.
for
I
sure.
mean, he's always been big. Like it's not like he went anywhere, but like I've heard, I don't really know too much about the whole world, but like I heard that like that beef with Drake, I guess, like brought him back up, and that song is even kind of like a TikTok hit or whatever. That
Not
we are
like
not like
us, yeah.
you or whatever. You're not like
Not
us.
like
Yeah.
us, yeah. Yeah, that song's
Yeah.
huge now. And yeah, Kendrick's a really like he's a mysterious artist. So seeing him drop that many singles back to back was really exciting.
Yeah. And it was kind of just how many did he do? Like three diss tracks to Drake?
I think it was like, yeah, 3 or 4 around there.
What do you think about Drake?
Maybe a
Like
little more.
who are you
What do
rooting
I think about
for?
Drake?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I've never been a Drake fan. I mean, he has good songs. I think he's talented. He has a good voice. Um, but I think just recently he's just gotten really lazy with his music. Like he's obviously just releasing albums like as cash grabs. And he's not really putting as much effort into music as he used to, which is disappointing because I feel like he still has a lot of potential.
Yeah. I don't know, like I don't know. I have a hard time judging that world. Like I said, I'm not as into rap, but it's like I kind of just felt like all his stuff was kind of lazy. And I mean, it's not bad. It just it never really like grabbed at me. I know a lot of people are really into his stuff, and even like with Kendrick's stuff, like I'm into it, but it's hard for me to like listen to like a whole album. Like with the
Yeah.
previous two were really big. I mean, I guess Damn, I like Damn a lot. The one before Mr. Morel. And then as far as your music goes, so you had some people help you with the production, but did you do it like all like basically in college, like kind of like in either your dorm room or like somewhere in the college or whatever? It was all pretty much like you didn't go to like a studio or anything?
So for Trenches of Albany, which was the first single that I released, it was like the lead single on the album. I actually recorded that in my college's library. They have like a studio, super small studio, recording studio. So that's where I recorded that track. And then I also recorded some other tracks, or I guess like started some tracks in my dorm as well. But then I really locked in on the album and finished it over the summer when I was back home in a more like familiar environment, more comfortable environment, I guess.
And then as far as the sampling goes, is that like in terms of copyright, like if you put it up on YouTube or whatever, or even Apple Music, like is there an issue with copyright where it like catches that and it'll be like you can't use the sample or whatever? I mean, I guess YouTube will just allow you to use it, but like you just can't get monetized with it or whatever. But like,
Yeah. Yeah, so on
these are
YouTube
just
Music,
issues in general with sampling. I mean, yeah.
yeah. On YouTube Music, yeah, you can't monetize it, like you can't register a content ID to it. Um, and then on Instagram, like you can't upload it to Instagram directly, like you know how people put songs on their notes and on their stories, like you can't do that. If as a sample, it's just really hard to get cleared. So, um, but as far as like Spotify and Apple Music and streaming platforms go, if you're a small artist, honestly, you have a pass because it's not much people are listening to your music and that kind of gives you a pass. But if you're like a larger artist, you do have to reach out to the original artist that you sampled and get that cleared, which is a lengthy process.
And then how hard was it to get on Apple Music? Is it pretty easy to get
Um,
on there now?
yeah, it's super
Or
easy.
Spotify?
Yeah, both are really easy. I'm with RootNote, which is my distributor, and it's free to distribute on Spotify and Apple Music through them. Um, and yeah, it was super easy. I mean, you just upload the tracks and you have to mark which songs are explicit. Um, and then upload the cover art and you're good to go. It's super easy nowadays. You don't need like a special manager or a label. Anybody can upload music to Spotify or Apple Music, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, back because I was actually in a band like 20 years ago or
Yeah.
so, and yeah, like I mean, Apple Music wasn't even around, so like the only way to do it would be like basically at the time really was just like it was like just CD days,
Uh-huh.
and I think I even did it like back when it was like tapes, and
Yeah,
so yeah, but like now with everything being online, it seems like it would be a lot, I would imagine, better and easier to get it online. Although you also probably have a lot more competition too, I'm assuming.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
And also, yeah, and making profit, like making money is difficult because you only get like a few cents a stream. So like I don't know how much you're charging for your CDs, but I mean, um yeah, it's hard for artists to make money through streaming platforms because they're like my distributor, they take a cut of what I make. So I only get like 85%. Um and that's really like nothing because you know it's a few cents a stream. So yeah, when you see like really big artists, like independent artists with millions of monthly listeners, they probably aren't making as much money as you think.
yeah. I mean, I don't really know too much about the industry, but I would think the
Yeah.
85% isn't that bad. I mean, obviously, it's still not a lot, but and then about how much have you made from it, if you don't mind me asking? Like, do you actually get anything?
Um, I actually haven't checked. I don't know. I don't really. I mean, this is like a hobby for me, so I don't really care about how much I get paid. But it's probably not a lot. Like it's probably not even double digits.
Yeah. No, yeah, I
Yeah.
know what you're talking about. But to me, I'm doing the YouTube thing. I was, like a while ago, I was doing the music thing, but now I'm doing like the YouTube thing. and I know how it is. It's hard. I mean, I've actually kind of gotten to a point where I'm making more than I even kind of expected, which is like 100 to 200 a month making like YouTube videos. But
That's
it's
solid,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, even that is like I'm happy about it. So I mean, even if you can get to I know where you're coming from. Like even if you can get to a point where you're making even a little bit, it's just kind of cool to be able to do that since you're doing it for fun. And then have you played any like shows or
No,
concerts?
no, I really want to though. Here in my college town, I mean, there's a good amount of opportunities for me, like to reach out to people. Um, I'm probably gonna reach out to Corvallis. There's like a Corvallis experimental music group, and they hold shows at the local cafe like every few months for experimental artists. So I should probably DM them on Instagram pretty soon.
Yeah. So if you did play live, would it just be you up there, or would you have like a producer like playing the music and then like you're up there like singing, or would you just kind of like do it all yourself on like a laptop?
I would prefer to just do it all myself. I feel like yeah, I don't have to like pay for someone special to run it for me, and then I just feel like it's more authentic if I do it that way. Like just focusing on the music and that's all.
Yeah. So have you
Hmm.
been to any shows recently?
Yeah. I just went to JPEG Mafia in August. It was a really fun show. Um yeah, that guy, he has a lot of energy. It's insane to watch him perform. Um yeah, he just literally goes back and forth on the stage, like yelling into the mic. It's really fun. A lot of mosh pits, a lot of sweaty people. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then like Travis Scott, I think you said his name right. He goes off too, doesn't he? Have you seen him?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Um, yeah, when he plays Fiend at his concerts, he plays it like 8 times in a row. Yeah. Yeah, Travis Scott, he's a big inspiration for some of the songs on the album. Sundown Town, I don't know if you heard that track off the album. That track is like mainly inspired by him. Just like the heavy auto tune on my vocals, and also the synths on that track, just the way they kind of like float around my voice. Um, yeah, Travis Scott, yeah, beautiful music. I love what he
Yeah.
does.
And then what about Frank Ocean? Do you think he's going to come out with new music soon or what?
Frank Ocean? I don't know, man. I'm a huge Frank Ocean fan. That's probably my favorite artist of all time. Um, I don't know. People are like always starting rumors about him, saying he's gonna drop new music. I don't know. I don't see it happening. I mean, he performed at Coachella last year in April, and he didn't really put much effort into that, unfortunately. So I don't really think he's focused on music right now. Also, he has his luxury jewelry brand called Homer, and I feel like he's more passionate about that right now versus music.
Yeah. What about Tyler the Creator? Are you into him?
Oh, 100%, yeah. Um, yeah, Tyler, he inspired a couple tracks on the album. Track two, Fuck You Know About Albany. His song Massa inspired that track a lot. Um, yeah, and I guess when it comes to synths, like I love a good synth. Um, so his album Igor um inspires me a lot because that's a really synth heavy album.
Yeah. Yeah, like I saw him on YouTube live at like I think it was Lollapalooza
Mhm.
and then what was it Coachella, the more recent one, or I'm trying to think of the
Yeah, he performed at Coachella. That was a great show. I watched it live as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, I thought like he puts on like a pretty good show, like where he has like stage set up and all
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah. And then what about like have you heard like Bonnie Iver? Are you into like Bonnie Iver?
Bon Iver. Haven't gotten super into him, but I love the way his voice sounds, and the way he does vocal production is really interesting because he layers a bunch of vocal takes on top of each other. Um I love when vocals sound really full. Like on my album, I did a bunch of doubles, which is like doing one take of a vocal and then doing a second take of a vocal. It just makes the vocals sound more rich. And then obviously you pan one vocal take to the right ear and then pan one to the left ear. It just makes it sound more like a choir almost. And then obviously you would layer harmonies below that as well.
Yeah. What do you use for producing?
Yeah, so for this album, I it was split between Cakewalk, which is like a super old uh production software, but I like it because it's really easy to use and navigate. So I use Cakewalk and then also use BandLab because BandLab gets a bad rep because it's like a browser based. Um and a lot of like SoundCloud rappers use it, but um it's just super easy to use. And doing vocals on BandLab is really easy because there's a bunch of plugins and they make it really user friendly. So um I did a lot of vocals on BandLab as well.
And then you just have like a MacBook, or what kind of laptop do you have, or computer?
Did most I did most of the recording on a PC, just like a desktop PC. And yeah, I just plug my mic in. If I wanted to add an instrumental, I would literally just use like my keyboard as like a MIDI um to make drums and things like that. So yeah, really easy.
And then so
Nothing too expensive.
now you're in college. Where are you at college?
I go to Oregon State University.
Okay, so like you're not too far from Albany still.
No, it's like 20 minutes away.
Okay, cool. So in terms of your town, like you mentioned before to me that like you're just trying to address the issues of the small town of the homelessness. Like what are the issues with the town that you want to like address?
Yeah, so in the album I talk about mainly just like income inequality. Like in my track, Albany has five good restaurants and they're all overpriced. I talk about how when you're in downtown Albany, you can you eat at this really like you can eat at these really upscale restaurants and it's literally like $12 to add chicken to your pasta. And then you walk like 5 minutes down the sidewalk and you see these like really rundown homes and with these really like rundown cars in front of it. And it's so I just think it's so weird that like there's these nice restaurants that they're building, but then they aren't focusing on the, you know, poor neighborhoods within the city.
Yeah. So I mean, is Albany in general kind of like a nice town, or and then like with bad parts, or is it like kind of like um are they just trying to like gentrify some parts of it or what? Because I mean that does sound like pretty gnarly, like $12 just to add like chicken. So is like that like kind of like a nice part of town that they're doing that? Or
Yeah, downtown, yeah, they downtown is really nice. I feel like if you go to Albany, um, for whatever reason, like you would stop by downtown because that's where all like the nice restaurants are. There's a carousel down there that people like to go to. It's really clean. But like in South Albany, um, yeah, it's pretty gross. Like it's just really dingy. Um, there's a lot of drug use, like especially at the train station. If you live in Albany, you know that like the train station is where all the crackheads are in the city. So um, yeah, and then yeah, it's really like weird though, because it's like it's kind of sporadic. Because like there's really nice neighborhoods, and then like right next to that nice neighborhood, like a 10-minute walk away, there's a more low income neighborhood. So it's just like really, yeah, it's unequal.
Yeah. And then how far, like, where is it? Is it close to Portland or?
Um, yeah, Albany is kind of like in its own little bubble, um which makes it like really boring to grow up in. Yeah, it's like 3 hours away from Portland. It's in like it's in the valley, but it's in like the middle of the valley, right? So, um, yeah, super far away from any like major cities.
Is it north of Portland or south?
It's south of Portland, yeah.
Okay, so like closer to like California then?
Yeah, a little bit, not super close, but yeah, it's like on the way to California. Yeah.
Yeah. And then are you close to like the beach?
Oh yeah, the beach. Yeah, that's the nice thing. Um, not too far of a drive from the beach, maybe like an hour and a half. And yeah, the Oregon coast is super super beautiful. I don't know if you've been, but um definitely like one of my favorite places to go in the state for sure.
Yeah, like I want to go.
Uh-huh.
It's like one of the places I want to go. I haven't really been. I think I've driven through it, but I don't think I've really been like actually been to the coast there. Do you do any type of like surfing or anything like that?
Oh no, I don't surf in that water. It's like 50 degrees.
Yeah,
Um but I don't know. I see some like crazy people out there swimming in the water sometimes.
yeah. So in terms of are you into any like indie rock or mostly just like rap and that type of stuff?
I listen to all genres. Mostly rap, but yeah, I listen to all genres. I just recently, I guess like 4 or 5 years ago, started expanding my music taste a little more because I only listen to rap and a little bit of R&B. So yeah, I've been expanding my music taste a lot.
So like what kind of indie rock are you into?
Um, I got into Cage the Elephant recently. Because I went to one of his shows in 2018. My friend took me, and I really enjoyed the show. Um, so yeah, I started listening to him after that show.
Yeah, I'm into them. They're
Mhm.
pretty good. I heard like a while. I remember hearing a while ago like that he got caught with like a he was had like a gun or something. Did you hear about that?
The lead singer?
Yeah, it was like a small story, but it was like something with him being kind of crazy and having a gun. But then I never really heard any follow up to it.
I didn't hear about that, but yeah, that doesn't surprise me because their lead singer is, yeah, he's a little odd.
Was he pretty crazy live?
Yeah, he on stage he just wore boxers on stage, and then yeah, he just wore boxers on stage, and yeah, his performing style is really really chaotic. Like he'll like crawl on the ground, he'll lay on the floor, which I mean it's hard. Like I enjoy that, but it's kind of a lot to take in.
Yeah, I'm like super into like that kind of stuff. So I actually might want to see them live. I remember when they came out with their first album, I was like, oh, this is just kind of like radio rock type stuff. Like I can't even think of like the first couple singles they had. But then it was like their next couple albums, I liked them more and more. They kind of got like harder and harder and like kind of like weirder
Yeah.
and weirder, which I was into. And then so as far as indie rock goes, is that pretty much it? Just Cage the Elephant.
I like the Cocteau Twins.
Okay.
Um,
It's like two girls, right? Or something? Or what?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Or
Yeah.
no.
I think it is two girls. Yeah, they just make really beautiful, kind of like lush music. Obviously Radiohead. I love Radiohead. Um, yeah, that's all I can think of. And also, I really like folk music, like Adrian Lenker from the band Big Thief.
Yeah.
Um, had some inspiration on my album. Actually, did a the final track on the album is a interpolation of Anything by Adrian Lenker. Also love Sufjan Stevens, Elliott Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. So like good amount of crossover from what I'm in. I mean, we're into like similar type of stuff, which is good. And then what about like Bright Eyes? Have you heard Bright Eyes?
No, I've heard the name, but I haven't listened to their music at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like wondering how much of the stuff that I was into like 20 years
Uh,
ago, and I still am, is still kind of around. Like Sufjan Stevens has been around for a while.
yeah,
What about like Taking Back Sunday? Have you heard of them? Taking Back Sunday, like Fall Out
I've heard of
Boy,
them. Yeah, I've heard of them. I haven't heard their music though.
or like My Chemical Romance.
Hmm. Um, I probably heard some of their songs like when they were like at their peak of their career, but not
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah, like that's like what I was into, like screamo, emo type stuff.
Yeah, I've
And
heard
now I
about
think
them.
it's yeah, and it's like there's not too much new. Like I'm not too into like the new music as much as the old music. There is some stuff
Yeah.
coming out now that I'm into, but it seems like it's almost kind of like transitioned more into rap, which is fine. And like I'm into some of it, but like I don't really know about the whole world as much. So in terms of, I guess like pop culture and your age and stuff like that, it seems like more kids are like more aware of, like you were talking about with your city, like injustices and kind of inequalities, right?
Yeah.
um would you say that's a big thing among like most of the people your age, like they're kind of like into things being like more fair and all that?
Oh yeah, and I think that like social media has a big play in that. Like I I watch a lot of Peter Santanello. I don't know if you watched him, but he at least recently he's like a travel blogger and he goes to smaller unknown cities in the US and kind of like talks to the locals there and kind of like exposes the issues, also goes to like smaller suburbs or neighborhoods within big cities. Like recently he went to Kensington, Philadelphia, which is like a huge um like fentanyl capital. There's a lot of issues with drug use there. So yeah, Peter Santanello um definitely like kind of inspired the concept of Project Albany a little bit.
I'll check him out. I haven't heard of him. But what about like, are you do you watch like the Channel 5 guy? Have you heard of him? Andrew
Yeah. Yeah, I watched his recent, or it's not recent, but one of his videos on Oblock, which I thought was really interesting. Yeah, I love his style of videography and editing. I think it's really engaging.
yeah. What is O Block?
Oblock, it's it's a low income housing like kind of like neighborhood within Chicago. Um, there's a lot of there's a lot of like crime there, drug use, a lot of violence, and but a lot of like talented people have come out of O Block, like King Von, um, which is he's a huge rapper. He did pass away, I think, in like 2020 though. Michelle Obama is from O Block. Um, so yeah, it's a really dangerous part of Chicago, but it has produced a lot of big figures.
Yeah. What about like Chief Keef? Is he from there?
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's from Chicago. And then also Kanye West is from Chicago.
Mhm.
Are you into Kanye West?
Um, yeah, I like his music. Yeah. I guess like his album Yeezus, that's one of his more experimental albums, definitely had like a little bit of inspiration on my music as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's like one of my favorite albums.
Yeah,
He's kind of
yeah,
got off the deep end like recently with what he said, right? But
yeah. He's yeah, he's weird. I don't know. Yeah, he was on the Alex Jones show, which was weird. I don't know. I think he's just I guess he just likes publicity, I guess. I don't know, because I don't know why he's so comfortable with putting himself in controversial situations as a celebrity, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it's crazy to want like publicity that bad to do that. Like I almost think that it's more of just like a bipolar, like mental illness thing. But then it also probably goes
Yeah.
hand in hand with getting more popular than he does. But I feel like this time he went too far, maybe. But it's like maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Like maybe I feel like most people would probably be turned off by what he did. But then it's like maybe he actually grew because it's so crazy. I don't know, you know?
Yeah, I think ever since like he said he loves Hitler, I think that his image has been damaged, and I don't think he can really recover from that.
Yeah. So in terms of like pop culture stuff, um well one like what kind of podcasts are you into?
Well, for me, I see podcasts as like more of a like an educational opportunity. So like as a marketing major, like marketing is a field that's always changing and evolving. So like I listen to a lot of marketing podcasts to kind of stay updated and knowledgeable on what's happening within that industry. Um, but yeah, I also love I listen to a music podcast called Tape Notes. They interview um, larger artists and producers, and they kind of like dive into songs they've created and dissect them, which I think is really cool. Um, yeah, that's all the podcasts I listen to. Yeah.
Do you follow like the comedy scene at all, like the whole Joe Rogan like type stuff?
Not recently. I actually used to listen to a lot of Joe Rogan like in high school. But I don't know. Is he like I don't know if he's controversial now, but I haven't listened to him in a while.
He's like kind of controversial. I mean, I think he himself overall is like fine, but he'll have like controversial people on. And it's like I think that even that's like kind of fine. I mean, it's I if he agrees with them on stuff, it's kind of lame. But like he's had like Alex Jones on, like you know, like Jordan Peterson.
I haven't heard of Jordan Peterson, but I didn't know he had Alex Jones on. That's kind of crazy. I didn't know that.
He's had Alex Jones on multiple times. Jordan Peterson, like
All right.
Jordan Peterson's like a big. I'm kind of surprised you don't know who he is because like he was having like a. I mean, he's gotten like really big and like he for I don't know if he's doing this anymore, but for a while he was going to like colleges, and I think the kids like didn't really want him there and stuff, and so like he would like he's kind of like a weird guy, like he's like really in like you really have to like check him out to like kind of like know about him, but like I think
Yeah.
overall he's fine, but like he'll go and like tweet stuff that's like really just really lame, and it's like making fun
Right.
of like overweight women or like making fun of like trans people or not even really making fun of but kind of like just saying how it's like he really is like against the whole like trans thing or like and he's like it but like he's an interesting guy to like listen to so like I don't really like hate him. It's just kind of like some of the stuff he does is like wrong but overall like when he goes on podcasts it's like kind of like an interesting listen. um so in terms of like pop culture type stuff, so well first of all with the Joe Rogan comedians, like do you know about like the Shane Gillis type stuff, Andrew Schultz, like those comedians? I'm trying
Heard
to
of
think who
Shane,
else.
yeah, I've heard of Shane Gillis. Yeah, I don't watch much comedy. I used to watch a lot of like late night TV, like Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Conan O'Brien, um,
Yeah,
because they do like really entertaining segments with other people. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's like one of those things where like if you don't know about the people, then it's not that interesting. But I like I don't really like most of the comedians that go on Joe Rogan. Like I just don't think they're like that funny. But like, I listen to people who like kind of like talk about kind of like the drama that's going on with them or whatever, like just make
yeah.
fun of them on YouTube. But so in terms of like pop culture stuff, what are like college kids into now? Is it pretty much just kind of like what I would expect, like Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, Chappelle Rowan, that type of stuff? Or
Yeah.
like, are you into like
Yeah, I
Chappelle
guess.
Rowan?
Yeah, Chapo Roan. Yeah,
Chappell Roan. I always pronounce her name wrong. Chappell Roan. Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to pronounce. But yeah, I personally don't listen to Chapo Roan. I just like that's genre of pop doesn't really interest me that much, but yeah, she's huge now. Like her come up story is really interesting. Like she started off as like a medium sized artist, and then her career kind of fell off, and then she wanted to go back to school, but then all of a sudden like she just blew up. So yeah, it's a really interesting story when it comes to Chaperone. But yeah, a lot of people listen to Billie Eilish on campus. I'm a big Billie Eilish fan. I think I don't know, she's really unproblematic. She has a good personality, really good voice. Um, and she's just getting better as an artist. Like if you compare her old work to the work she does today, like it's night and day. It's she's getting better with each album.
Yeah, I haven't listened to probably enough of the new album, but I actually think that her, I guess it would be her second album, in my opinion, is her best. Like I don't like her newer stuff as much as that big second one,
Yeah.
but I'm really mostly talking about like kind of just like listening in terms of the actual music. Maybe it's better. And I know like her brother does like the producing, right? So
Yeah.
he's pretty good at what he does, I think, right?
Oh yeah. He's when I was like first getting into producing, I was studying his production style a lot because I like how he incorporates like real world sounds into his music. I thought that was really cool. So, yeah, I take a lot of inspiration from her brother Phineas.
Yeah. So what about like movies and TV shows? What kind of stuff are you into?
Um, yeah, the thing about me, I don't watch much movies. I don't know why. I just never really found the time to watch movies. As far as TV shows go, I like reality TV. Um, when I was growing up, I really liked Nickelodeon. Like I watched a lot of iCarly and Victorious. Watched a lot of SpongeBob, Adventure Time. But if I watch a TV show now, it's usually reality TV. I really the last show I watched like front to back was Hell's Kitchen because I just really like the competition style, and I love drama. So I really enjoyed like the real drama that goes on in that show.
Yeah. So in terms of back to like the politics stuff, in terms of the politics, would you say that most of the kids like on your campus, especially probably being in Oregon, I would assume would you say like most of them are liberal?
Oh yeah, 100%. At least on campus. Yeah, I mean, people mistake Oregon as being super liberal though. I feel like outside of Portland and Eugene, it's pretty mixed. Like in Albany, it's pretty conservative. But I guess over the years it's gone a little more liberal, a little more mixed now, but still super conservative. Like you see people with huge Trump flags in front of their homes and things like that.
But in terms of like on campus, you would say most of like the younger college students are probably liberal, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen at the in the election? It's like what is it like 2 months away, or is it November that
Yeah,
we vote?
it's in
Or
November. Early November, yeah.
so what do you think is going to happen with that,
Like on campus.
or just in general? Who do you think is going to win?
Oh yeah, yeah, I used to be super into politics. I would make like the electoral maps. Like I would try to like predict who would win. Um so just like from like an unbiased standpoint, like this like realistically, I think Kamala Harris is gonna win. I think she's just the more popular candidate. especially I think like Trump's um just like the comments he's made recently, kind of like baseless claims. I feel like that turns off a lot of voters who are in the middle, or are more like independent. So yeah, I think like realistically, Harris is gonna win, but you never know because 2016 happened. So I don't, could go either way.
Yeah. Are you gonna vote for Kamala or Kamala?
Um, I honestly don't know. I don't know yet. It's for me, it's a hard decision. So
Oh, between her and Trump?
yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're not like full liberal then.
Um, I'm like a little more progressive. So Kamala Harris, like some of her policies are like don't make much sense to me. Like her stance on Israel, I feel like is kind of all over the place.
So you're pro Palestine, obviously,
Yeah.
or I would assume, yeah. But I mean, you potentially could vote for Trump then.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Oh, well, I said between the two of them.
Oh yeah, well, I just like yeah, the issue for me is like I don't know. I just like I don't know if I can get myself to like vote for Harris because of some of like my personal opinions kind of clash with hers, but um yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out though.
So you're not voting for Trump, but you might not vote for Harris. So if you didn't vote for Harris, who would you vote for, or just not vote at all?
I would just not vote at all because I live in Oregon and um it's a solid blue state. Like it's probably there hasn't been much of a change in voting behavior. So I think if I don't vote, then it won't really have much of an impact. But I guess
Yeah.
like yeah, if I live in like a swing state, then I would um definitely be more inclined to vote or like do more research for sure.
So you're more progressive than Kamala, like
Yeah,
kind of like Bernie Sanders level.
I would say so.
Yeah. And then what do you think about like the whole like all like the is there a good amount of like trends type stuff going on campus?
Um, what do you mean by trends?
Like, like like transsexual?
Oh, you mean like okay, so like um I mean not that what I've seen personally, no.
No. But I mean I like this is it's like a stupid question or probably a stupid thing to bring up, but it's like I've heard that like amongst like younger people, like there's more like how they say like there's more people becoming trans or whatever, like gay. Like I don't know how like true that is, but would you say it's like not really even like that true? I mean, I know they're more for like trans rights,
Right.
but in terms of
Yeah,
just like actual people being trans, if there's like more people doing that.
um I haven't not what I've seen from my campus, but also like I'm in the College of Business. So I feel like if you go to like the College of Liberal Arts where like people are a little more I feel like people are more like politically aware um within that college. I mean, maybe you'll see something, but I haven't personally seen anything.
Yeah, I actually had like a trans person on this podcast. Like I had her on, and she was
Mhm.
like a comedian. I didn't even
Yeah.
know she was trans because I guess she was like kind of changing. She was from like England, and I was like, I asked her the question about it. It was like she's into all this type of stuff, and then she was like, "Oh, I am trans," and then I ended up having her back a few times to go over like political kind of philosophy stuff. But anyways, so in terms of the marketing, um, you're learning about marketing. You said you're like really interested in marketing. What are some, I guess like what are, because I'm, like I said, I do YouTube and like, Instagram, TikTok. What are some things that you think that like I guess I could learn or people could learn from marketing? And then how do you plan on like kind of like using that with like your music, or if you do?
Yeah, so marketing, yeah, marketing is really complicated, but yeah, a lot of people get like sales and marketing mixed up. Like when I tell people I study marketing, like they think I'm like selling things to people like directly, but sales is different from marketing. Marketing is more like on the back end, right? So like if I yeah, it also gets mixed up with advertising as well. So like if I want to run a billboard ad as a marketer, I would figure out where the billboard ad should go. Like if I'm working for a makeup company, then I want to maybe place the billboard ad in an area where I know younger people are going to be, or where I know females are going to be, because that's our target audience when it comes to makeup, right? So yeah, and then the advertiser will figure out what goes on the ad and how the ad visually appears to people. Um, so yeah, as far as marketing goes, a lot of people think it's really creative, but it's little more analytical. You're looking at a lot of data and trends. Um, and yeah, I think it's a really important skill for everyone to have. Especially like for you, like when it comes to YouTube, making sure, your title is attention catching, um, making sure your description is optimized, things like that, what type of tags you're using, um, how you're engaging your audience and keeping their attention throughout the video, things like that. Yeah, and when it comes to my album, I had a really simple rollout. I posted a picture of like a weird flyer on the local Albany, Oregon subreddit, and that caught a lot of people's attention. And it had like a QR code on the flyer. Um, and the post was about like have you guys seen this weird flyer around town? And then people were commenting like, no, I haven't seen it. This is really weird. Have you scanned the QR code? And then I would reply to them, um, saying that I scanned the QR code, and give them like a pre-save link. And yeah, I got a huge influx of pre-saves and streams just like through that method. And then I would do like follow-up posts being like, yeah, so it turned out the flyer was advertising this person's album, and it's about Albany, which I mean, like nothing happens in that city, so that's like the most exciting thing to happen probably in a while. So people were like really engaged within those posts. Um, yeah, it was really interesting to see kind of how people reacted.
Where did you like put where did you like put the flyers?
So I didn't actually put any flyers up. It was just a post saying that I like found a flyer
Where was the
to kind of
post
like,
on?
it was on the Albany, Oregon subreddit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's that's a good idea, and like there's tons of things like that online that you could do, and like I haven't like I mean, it's kind of like somewhat hard to do because a lot of it can be like time consuming when you're like advertising or whatever on the internet. But it's like I have to like make like for me like I'm making like multiple videos a day, or at least I'm trying to, and then obviously doing the videos and then like coming doing the thumbnail, like doing everything, posting and posting them on TikTok. But then on top of that, like you kind of have to like you just said, like I would ideally want to post it to like a subreddit. But then I'm like, I've done that a few times where like I posted to sub. I think that's like a pretty good way of advertising is to like post on a
Sure.
subreddit, even though like what?
Yeah, it's like I feel like Reddit is a really underrated like social media platform when it comes to things like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and like I've done a couple. I haven't done this for a while, but I was like going on message boards asking for people to come on my podcast, and they don't really like it because they think that you're like advertising your podcast, but if you do it in like a way
Yeah.
to where like they don't know you're advertising, like kind of like what you did, or like if you just say like, "Hey guys, I saw this YouTube video on this subject, check it out." Yeah, it's a pretty good way of utilizing that. Um, yeah. So do you plan on the music career? Kind of, do you want it to go somewhere, or like is it just kind of like a hobby for fun? Like you plan on just getting like a regular job?
Yeah, so that's, I mean, it's a hobby for now, but like wherever it goes, um, I'm okay with. I mean, yeah, I guess ideally, like it would be nice to have a music career, but you know, it's so saturated and competitive. Um, if I like, if I advertised my album like the traditional way, which nowadays I guess is like through TikTok and things like that, I feel like I wouldn't have gotten as much of a reach and as much engagement as focusing more on a like specific group of people. So yeah, it's really hard to get a music career. Um, yeah, realistically, I would just work a 9 to 5, honestly.
That's like kind of like what you plan on doing when you graduate.
Yeah, that's my main focus.
Yeah. And then, do you have TikTok or YouTube that you post like your music to?
Yeah, I've actually I have a YouTube channel that's also a hobby of mine. I enjoy making YouTube videos from time to time. Um, I I took a break from YouTube because I just kind of like fell out of I the passion kind of fell out for me. But yeah, last year I returned to it. I don't post super consistently, but I since returning I've gained like 200 subscribers, which is surprising to me. Like 200 to 300, which is really surprising. Um, just posting like I don't really have a niche, but I guess most of my content is centered around college life. Um, and it does semi well. Like on average, I get around 500 to 1,000 views per video. Um,
That's not bad.
especially yeah, especially if it's like college related. I don't know why that niche does so well for me, but um, yeah, it's a fun hobby for sure. It's creative.
Is that 500 to 1,000 views per like full video or like short,
Oh yeah, I'm talking about long form videos, but
long form
I
videos?
do
Yeah.
yeah, I do make shorts as well to and I feel
Yeah.
like that helps get an influx to the long form videos.
In terms of the style of video you're doing, are you doing like vlogs where you're like kind of going around campus like filming yourself or whatever? Or what kind of college? How do you do it?
Um yeah, I yeah, kind of like vlogs. I had a video that did really well. It was just like a dorm tour, but it was more like honest and authentic than some of the other dorm tours that I've seen, which I feel like people really enjoyed. Um, and that video, if like I look at the analytics, like it gets a huge influx of people. Or just got recently a huge influx of people because I mean it's college move-in season. So yeah, it's interesting to look at the analytics and see like when the video starts peaking in views. Uh, and
How
I
many
put
views?
yeah,
How many views does it have like right now?
right now I think it's probably at 5,000 something.
That's cool. How long is it?
It's like 7 minutes long. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I try to like incorporate humor into my videos. Like there's a lot of most of my videos on my channel are like satirical. Um yeah.
Yeah. Are you in the video? Are you filming yourself?
Most of the time, yeah, I'm filming myself. I'll just like
Yeah.
I'll prop up the camera. But yeah, in the dorm tour video, my roommate filmed it for me. So
Yeah. Yeah. Like I've wanted, like I like to, like I'm fine doing this. and posting it, but like I have a hard time doing it by myself. Like if it's just like me doing talking to the camera, I have a hard time doing that, or like even filming myself. I don't really ideally like to be on camera. Have you heard like of like Hassan Piker?
Yeah,
Yeah, or H3. Um,
yeah, yeah,
but like the way Hassan Piker does his thing, like I just don't think I'd be able to like sit there and like by myself kind of like I feel like I need somebody to like talk with, but I have wanted to do those types of videos mainly just for the fact that it's like more convenient if it's just you. You know, it's like I don't really need to get somebody on. It's just me whenever I want to do it. But in terms of yeah, so in terms of where you find your music now, like I know for me it was like Pitchfork. Like I don't know if have you heard of pitchfork.com?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like finding a lot of stuff back in the day on that, but now it seems like I don't really find like much of anything on it. So I don't know if you use that site or what other sites or ways do you find a good ways to find new music for you.
Yeah, so most of the time I go on um albumoftheyear.org. It's like it's a website. They put up a bunch of new album and single releases every week, and you can just kind of like scroll through the website. And it also allows for users on the website to review albums. Um, and I used to write reviews on there pretty actively in high school. Because I enjoy writing a lot. But yeah, I get it from Album of the Year. Also, I'm a huge Anthony Fantano fan. A lot of people hate him, but I think he gives a lot of good recommendations.
Yeah. For whatever reason, like I like the thing is that I haven't really watched enough of him, but for some reason, like he kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't know if it's like his personality or like um maybe it's just the fact that he's like one of the biggest guys in that spot and
Yeah,
also like one of the only guys that I can think that is on that
yeah,
level in terms of reviewing music. But yeah, like for some reason, like he just kind of like annoys me. But I've heard a lot of people are into him. He's obviously popular, so there must be something he's doing right. Um, and then in terms of like AI, like have you messed around with like AI music at all to generate stuff?
I don't think AI in music is really a good thing. Like I think that good music is made by someone with, like good music. When you hear good music, you can hear the person's emotion, you can hear their passion. And I think AI kind of like censors that a little bit. But something yeah, interesting about AI, JPEG Mafia recently sampled an AI song and it sounded really good. But yeah, sampling is different than making a song purely using AI for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree. Like in general, I agree with you. I think the AI is like kind of like it's like obviously bad for art, especially like human art, which is like pretty much all art, but it's bad for humans. But it's like I've been using like Midjourney and stuff and like video generators to like create stuff for like Instagram. And at first I was like, I don't really feel good doing this because it's like cheating. But then I'm like, now I like don't actually have to go to the place. Like I don't have to like travel somewhere to go like film, which I want to do that, but like time and money. So I've just been doing like a lot of like kind of like AI type art for Instagram and which I think is a I think that obviously can become like a skill on its own. Like I don't respect it as much as like the real art, but it's like you can become like really good. Like some people are really good
Oh,
with
yeah.
the AI art, and it's like that's like probably just where things are going ultimately. And then what about AI in general? Like do you use ChatGPT and stuff? Like are kids using that or not kids, but like college students using that for like writing papers and all that?
Oh yeah, I personally I don't use ChatGPT to write my papers. Um but I've seen college students use ChatGPT and actually in some courses they encourage you to use it. Like if in my intro to business course that I took last year, we had a few assignments where we were allowed to use AI to like help with brainstorming because I mean it's a really good tool when it comes to creative things like that. But yeah, I guess like when writing papers, it doesn't really, I don't think it helps that much because it doesn't sound as authentic if you were to write it yourself.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't like people like like it is really good and it is really surprising, but then at the same time, it's like because I've been using the AI also to make like YouTube videos, but it's like very clear that it is AI. You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
it kind of like tends to say the same things, which are like
Yeah.
kind of cliche way of saying things. Like it's not like a good. But I've been using more of like Google's Gemini. ChatGPT, I think is probably better, but just for like writing, like if I want to do like a YouTube, like a short YouTube video on something, it's like obviously way easier for that just spit it out. And it's I don't really like writing. I don't really like the nuance of writing, like the to me it's just kind of like, just spit it out, whatever. Like I'm not that great of a writer anyway, so it's easier just to have me have that use that for that. But yeah, so is there anything else you wanted to go over that I didn't cover?
Well, no, this was a yeah, this was a good conversation. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming on. Lastly, I've already kind of asked you these questions, but I always ask at the end is if there's any like podcasts, music, movies, TV shows, or like anything that you want to like plug, and then you can like give me the links after, and I'll like post the links to your.
Yeah.
I want to check your YouTube stuff too. So
Yeah.
yeah, so what are some like plugs just in general that you want to throw out there?
Yeah, my YouTube channel is just Samuel R on YouTube. Um Instagram is also Samuel R with three S's in the beginning. Yeah, that's all I want to plug.
Okay, so no like podcasts or anything, or like I mean, I guess you pretty much kind of like already went over all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, we should be good
yeah.
on that.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks for coming on, Samuel.
Of course.
Yeah, I'll just send you over everything once I post it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.